When I was 11, I was 205 pounds.
How much weight have you lost?
I've lost a total of 140 pounds.
Show me. What made you lose the weight?
People had made me feel like a loser my whole life, and that's what I felt like. And I just had got to a point, I couldn't be a loser. I'm not going to be a loser anymore. And life is going to change, and I'm going to be better than all these people said.
But that's what gave you the will to go on and to do something. You said you saw your father when you were 13? Mm-hmm. What happened?
When I was 13, there was a lot of stuff going on in my life. It was a really, really hard time for me. I was getting into a lot of trouble, and I needed him. No one else was there for me, and I thought if anyone, the last person to give me some hope, to be there for me, would be him. And I met him, and it wasn't good.
What happened?
He told me that I wasn't going to turn out to be anything, that I was pretty, but I should really lose some weight. You know, I wasn't gonna be anything. I wasn't gonna turn out to be anything, and he was my last hope. I always thought, when I was a little girl, if I was pretty, that he would have been there.
My father would love me. If I was pretty, my father would love me. When he did not love you the way you wanted to be loved, how did that affect you?
It hurt me. It just tore me apart because he was my last hope, and after that, things just went downhill after that with my life. It just became really awful. I didn't care anymore. I didn't care if I died. I just didn't care because he was the last one. There was no one else.
You haven't seen him for 13 years. You got your life together in order to be, you lost 140 pounds, you grew your hair, you were a very lovely young lady. You really are. You have to take it from me. Isn't it? Where's your life now?
I work in a gym. I'm a fitness consultant for Fitness World, and I help people now. I try to give them their hope, their self-worth back. I try to help people do that. I've been with the same person for 6 years. We're getting married.
Don't you feel like a winner?
Yeah, I do. I do. And for all those years that I felt like such a loser, I do. I feel great now because all those people that told me I was a loser.
The Duckling, right? There's the pretty one and the ugly one, and yet to us they probably look exactly alike. And the most painful part of this was that she was always jealous of her sister Dawn, right?
Yeah.
Tell me why you were jealous of Dawn. I mean, to us you look like two lovely people.
Dawn was in high school, was the blonde hair, blue-eyed, girl, just very pretty, had boyfriends and things, and I didn't have boyfriends, and I was 4 inches taller than everybody else by the time I was a freshman in high school. I'm 6 foot tall and really thin and gawky looking and nerdy and just...
You're painting a beautiful picture. Knobby knees.
Yes, knobby knees and long arms. I felt like a skinny grape ape.
Did you know that she was going through this pain?
Yeah, I did.
You did?
Mm-hmm.
What did you think about it?
I felt bad for her, but I hate to say it, the way that high school is, you get in your own cliques, and it was different at home than it was at school, and I think I pretty much ignored her at school, and I feel really guilty for that now because I didn't realize what a beautiful person she is on the inside. It doesn't matter what you look like on the outside, and it took me a lot of growing up to realize that, I think.
Tina, even your family was hurtful to you?
Because I wasn't the norm. Like my parents would buy me funny little gifts or like a stuffed bra or something because I'm not well endowed or things like that. T-shirts that said logos like I belong to the, I don't know, itty bitty committee. That's what it was called. And I mean, that was for my,
you didn't hear that. You were just standing there. You didn't hear that.
That was just for my sweet 16 birthday, though. I mean,
And you don't realize how much that hurts her until now, you know.
right.
And
those
the
things
kids
stay
did
with
the same
you.
thing, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Is there somebody in your love life?
Yes, but when I was in high school, I had a crush on somebody. His name was Jack, and I was the president of the thespian club, which is like the little acting club in high school, and he was the vice president. So we worked a lot together in plays and in projects for the school, and I just always had the schoolgirl crush on him.
He was the best looking guy in high
In
school.
high
He was
school,
very
was.
hot.
He was.
He was
He was
very
good
cute.
looking. He had a nice body.
Why do you have a crush on the BMOC instead of, oh well, that's hard, right?
And Jack, he played Conrad Birdie in that
Bye Bye Birdie.
Bye Bye
Yeah.
Birdie. So we always, you know how the girls have to get around him and say, "We love you, Conrad." For Tina, it was like, "We love you, Conrad." It was not a problem.
Yes, we do. We love you, Conrad. Da, 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 da. So this guy never paid you the time of day, but we find out he's the hottest guy in the school, right?
Yeah.
Yes.
So you look very grown up for 13. I think that's a compliment when you're that age, right?
Thank you.
It's not a compliment when you're my age. But Bunny called the show because what?
She's going through a real tough time right now. She's a lot bigger than most girls her age,
How tall are you?
5'7".
almost 5'8".
5'7", 5'8".
Uh-huh. And she just turned 13. And here's all these young girls her same age that are very tiny, very petite, and people seem to want to coddle them and kind of take care of them. And she kind of gets left out. They assume she can just take care of herself.
Because
And-
of her size.
Yeah. And I went through the same thing. And so I know exactly how she's feeling. And this is a really traumatic time for her. She's in 7th grade, and you're going through a lot of changes anyway. And this just makes it a little harder.
How do you feel about yourself? How do you feel?
Sometimes when I look in the mirror, I feel fat.
You feel fat, okay. What else?
I think I have bug eyes,
Bug eyes.
People do tease her and tell her that
What
she
are
has bug eyes.
eyes?
big eyes.
They kind of
Big
stick
eyes
out
are-
a little bit.
Oh, okay. Again, I thought models had big eyes. You see yourself as what? If I had to say, what do you see yourself as? What would it be?
Not pretty.
Not pretty.
See, that breaks my heart.
Yeah, I know. I wouldn't
I
mind.
think she's a beautiful young lady.
But when you're that age,
When you're that
You
age.
don't.
When you're that age. Now, your mother says you have called yourself a pig and ugly. That's very strong. And what's happened to her marks?
Oh, her school. She has such low self-esteem. Her schoolwork it's terrible.
Have you ever been out on a date?
No.
We were talking about proms. Do you think you'll go to your prom?
Mm-mm.
You won't go to your prom? Do you think you'll ever go out on a date?
No.
You just listen to her talk.
She sits alone in her room and listens to music. She just lays on her bed. She doesn't really do much.
I did that a lot, too. Are you afraid of her going to high school?
Oh, I'm horrified. I think the reason I wanted her to come on the show and to do a makeover is she needs to have some kind of turning point in her life to make her feel good about herself and to make her feel as wonderful as everybody else.
You have a wonderful, wonderful smile. Your face lights up when you smile.
Anybody else want to say anything to her? Yes, okay.
Amanda, I just gotta tell you, when you look at yourself in the mirror, you gotta say, I'm a beautiful girl. And right now, you're too young to worry about boys. Worry about how you do in school. Because later on, you're gonna be someone. And you're gonna turn back into those kids that are bothering you, and you're gonna tell them, I am.
So he turned to drugs and got in with the wrong crowd. And how long did you use?
All through high school.
You've changed.
Yeah.
How old are you now?
I'm 25.
How do you feel?
I feel great.
How long have you been clean?
I've been clean probably for 5-6 years.
You've been clean for 6 years. Good going. Now, you may wonder where we're going with this. There was one person that stood by you.
Yes.
Can
A
you tell-
sunshine. Oof. Well, it was a girl in high school. She was very, very intelligent. She was more or less one of the people in the smart crowd, as they always call it in high school. And she was just always a bright, energetic woman. She always helped me, like would take me, let's go, get me into like the plays, art, or whatever my interests were.
Was she a teacher there?
No, she was a friend, a peer.
A peer group, somebody your age.
Yep. And you know.
Did you ever tell her what her friendship meant?
Yeah, I did. I think she knew, you know, because I told her. Yeah, I just said, you know, Carrie, you're a great friend. You're one of the only people that, you know, I can really talk to. You make me feel good. You give me a sense of self-worth. But I don't think I told it to her enough.
You didn't. So that's what you want to do, right?
Mm-hmm.
When he came home from the hospital, she was the only one who really accepted him. And you haven't seen her in 8 years.
I know.
Right? So it's time to see her now, okay? Okay? How do you feel about that?
I'm excited. I'm so comfortable and happy with myself now. I just can't wait to see her and just give her a big hug.
Okay, let's have her come on out.
Through you, it's going to make you think differently also, and then you sort of have to fit in. And it's very, very difficult. The scars stay because that's the foundation, basically, of what you're going to think about yourself for the rest of your life. And, you know, it's fascinating to me because I was listening to, you know, you speak about your daughter being 5'7" now at 13 years old. I was 5'10" at 13 years old. And at the dances, I mean, you know, I had little pillows here that the guys could rest their head against because everybody was so short. But as you were saying before, Sally, you know, one of the things that my mother told me was that you have to be the best at what you can be. And that's what your job is. It's not to listen to everybody else. And what's very important is, you know, we're talking a lot about what beauty is and what ugly is. And you know something? I have never met an ugly person. Never. I have seen ugly behaviors, but I've never seen an ugly person. And one of the things we have to tell the kids when they're growing up, our children and other children, is that you are more than just your nose, your lack of chest or your chest, your height or your knees or your elbows. And if we have to focus away basically from just about looks. Looks come and go, looks change. That sort of growing into your body at pre-adolescence and adolescence, it's very difficult. And you know, there was a gentleman in the audience said you have to be there for your daughter. You're right, you have to be there for her, which is beautiful.